Sense to start with the base of the sacrum, but here the caution is this. Some people have an independent first sacral segment, also known as a sixth lumbar vertebra. And what happened is during embryology and their development, that vertebra didn't change into a sacral segment and fused with the rest of the sacrum. It developed a shape that's more like a lumbar vertebra and remained independent. And it has a spinous process. It has transverse processes just like a lumbar vertebra, but it's really a sacral segment. And how do you know? If you're feeling the base of the sacrum at S1 or if you're actually feeling S2 because of an independent first sacral segment or sixth lumbar vertebra. Again, you go to the PSISs, very prominent bony landmarks here on the back of the pelvis, and the PSISs are level with the second sacral segment. So if you slide your fingers down and they stop level with the PSISs, then that person probably has an independent first sacral segment, or a sixth lumbar vertebra they call it. And you have to adjust your position for that and go up one to be in the right place to start counting, because you can't count from L6. You got to count from L5. Okay, and when we say a point is at a certain level, the level of C7, T5, L5, what we mean is the space below that spinous process, not the spinous process itself. So all these points in the back are level with the spaces between the vertebrae, between the spinous processes, not level with the spinous processes themselves. When you start marking, I don't recommend you mark the high point of the spinous process. Some people want to do that. It just clutters everything. You got too many marks and you don't know what you're looking at. Don't mark the spinous processes, mark the spaces between the spinous processes. So, again, I'm going to slide down the back till I find the base of what I think is the base of the sacrum, and it feels the same near the middle as it does when I go wider. So it's a very different feel from the transverse processes of the lumbar. And I'm going to double check myself. Yep, that's the first sacral segment because my PSISs are a segment lower than that. And so where, right in the middle where I feel a notch between the sacrum and the fifth lumbar, we're going to call that the space below L5, but for short, we're just going to call it L5. Because every time, it saves words to not have to say every time that something is at the level of the space below L5, just say it's at the level of L5, right? And that's what we mean is it's at the level of the space below L5. So there's no governor vessel point there. There's a curious point there that maybe belongs to the governor vessel, but it's not officially a governor vessel point. The next space up is L4, and again I'm going to feel from the side and follow that until I find the notch. And just to be sure that it's not a weird notch in the side of the vertebra, I'm going to feel it on the other side and see if I get a notch over there too. I do. So right here, level with the center of my fingernail, is the space below L4. I'm just going to call it L4. And the governor vessel point that's there is governor vessel 3. You don't have to find it today, but the next point you do, governor vessel 4. And we're going to go up until we find another space. It's right there. This is Ming Men is the name of the point, governor vessel 4. Because we ignore most of these governor vessel points, and in practice, and a lot of them weren't named in the Ling Shu and the Su Wen. You know, there was 86 points in the Su Wen. Ling Shu added another 86. That's 192. But we got 361 points today. And all of those were added later. And some of them were added very much later, right? Sean used to say that this point Ming Men would be at the lowest part of the dip in the back. But I found that isn't very reliable either. That lowest dip could be at L1 or at L3 instead of at L2. So we got L5, L4, L3, and L2 right here. And that is Ming Men, level with L2. All right. And this